Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another post-match stream. As always, I'm Chris, and as always, I'm joined by Tommy with a new and improved, upgraded computer. So a little bit more quality on our end here. But anyways, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, yeah, and I know it's about time. Uh, in fairness, I was using my phone, and obviously that's fairly limited when it comes to video and audio. So I decided to splash out a little bit, get a good laptop, so I can kind of upgrade if we're going to be doing this show long term, which seems we will. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a couple of shows with Gonzo and Hammers Chat every week, so it was time. It was long overdue, really.
Yeah, no worries. But beyond that too, sorry, we were scheduled to go at 5:30, but we felt like that this one really couldn't wait. We needed to get into this one, and then as always, and as you as the regulars can see, I'm back in my normal place again. Hunting gun season is over, so I have returned back home to Marysville. But if somehow you haven't seen, West Ham just came off of a massive win against Leeds, 2-1 at Leeds, that now see us up into fifth in the table. And to put that into context a little bit where we're at right now, we're now sitting on 20 points. If we were to continue that, I'd say we're sitting on 60, 61 or so points at the end of the season. That would put us into fifth at the end of the season last season. So I like where we're at right now.
Yeah, we're all liking where we're at right now. I mean, that was our 12th game, was it, of the season?
Yeah.
So I don't think any of us, even fans who were kind of on the more optimistic end of the scale, believed we'd be in fifth place after 12 games, especially when you consider our schedule. If you look at the teams we've played some very difficult games. Even games when we looked at the start of the season that we thought were like the much more winnable types of games. Like Villa, we thought, because they struggled like we did last season, but Villa have been really good this season. Leeds have had a good start. They're a decent side. And I think Fulham actually had improved as a team by the time we played them. That from their first kind of 6 games, they looked very bad, but then they had an upturn. Obviously, last week, disappointment against Man United. Again, that was a winnable game, but we all know what happened there. A bit of a symptom of it again tonight, just not taking our chances. But overall, you have to say, to be in fifth place, 12 games in, we are way ahead of the curve.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, it's been phenomenal so far this season. It kind of leads me into this next point. So obviously, one of the big points of the match, or in the days in the build-up, Masuaku out with surgery to relieve some pain that he's been having for God knows how long. He says 2 years, but who knows if it's longer or anything like that. So obviously, wish him the best. But massively changes the plans. Now shifting from a back five to a 4-3-3, and we get to see Ben Rama's full debut. And then on top of that, obviously new system. And I know a lot of people were worried about the back four, but I thought, minus the first few minutes, once you get those kinks out, I think we played brilliantly.
Yeah, overall, we were much the better side. And an absolutely deserved win. It would have been a travesty if we didn't win that game. No, it would have been our own fault, but it would have been a travesty. We were much the better side. Like I say, Leeds first half got off to a flyer. We'll get into the reasons for the goals, obviously, but and obviously in any game, especially away from home, conceding in the first couple of minutes is far from ideal. You're starting the game goal down, more or less. It's the same thing. So it puts you under a lot of pressure, but the way we responded, I thought, was excellent. And it just shows, I think, the way we responded, that our players are actually very confident. Heads didn't drop. They almost seemed unaffected by the fact they went 1-0 down.
That or more driven.
Yeah, they responded fantastically, and they just kept playing, kept creating chances, and obviously the goal came through Souček. Really good header from him again. He's so dangerous in the penalty area. But yeah, overall, it was a really great performance. It's just a pity we didn't get the goals we deserved. You know, we should have been just absolutely out of. I mean, we should have really, if you look at the stats on paper and look at the chances that were created, don't look at how many shots or how many shots on target, because a lot of the stuff Fabianski had to deal with was pretty much kind of routine goalkeeping. So he saved shots that he should be saving. A lot of stuff that was straight at him, you know. But if you look at the actual chances created and the nature of those opportunities, you know, we should have absolutely hammered Leeds on the scoreboard. Again, it's a real issue that we haven't. Same thing last week. We should have been out of sight after an hour against United and weren't. We were only 1-0 up, and we know what happened after that. But it's something we definitely need to work on. But at the end of the day, the only statistic that matters is the scoreline at the final whistle, and we're on the right side of it again. And if I'm not mistaken, Chris, in our 12 games, I think, is that 6 wins?
Let me check, because I am not entirely sure. I should be able to pull it up. I like this, right? I like where we're sitting. And look, we don't have to scroll down for us.
I know, you just popped the table up. And
we are, yeah, we're 6-2-4 with 20 goals
6,
for.
yeah.
50 goals.
Yeah, we've lost 4 games in 12. I mean, that's, you know, that's fantastic. You can't knock it. You know, okay, we don't always make life easy for ourselves, but you know, even just watching, you know, the game last week against United, the game tonight, the chances we create, you can see why we put 4 past Wolves and put 3 past Leicester. You know, when we do bring our shooting boots, we seem capable now of knocking in 3 and 4 goals. And again, we should have had, you know, we could have had genuinely, without kind of going crazy and exaggerating, on another night, if we'd have really been sharp up front, we genuinely could have got 6 goals tonight. You know, if everything had gone our way up front. You know, you get those games where just fucking everything you hit goes in. If we'd have had one of those nights tonight, we'd have knocked 6 past Leeds. And to be honest with you, like, I was thinking that, not necessarily that we'd hammer them, but I was very positive all week that we were going to go up there and get a result. I did a couple of videos, I said, with Gonzo for Hammers Chat last week, and we were talking about the Leeds game, and Gonzo was not very confident, whereas where I said to Gonzo, look, I think Leeds are an average side, and they play a very, very open brand of football. So you will get a chance to get after them and create chances and score goals against them. And I just felt that our defence is solid and that we'd be able to frustrate them largely. And I felt that we would create a hatful of chances. And that's exactly as it turned out. Look, I know that you know, Bielsa's done a good job there, and Leeds are a decent side, but I think they're no more than an average Premier League team. And I think because of Bielsa's style of play, that you're always going to create chances against Leeds, and you're always going to have an opportunity to win against them.
Yeah. And as you were talking about with the defense, I just wanted to say one personal thing with me. I saw a lot of people both on Twitter and through other various means just saying that we were going to get absolutely destroyed tonight because we weren't playing the back 5. For me, it comes down to, this is not the same team that last year that 4 at the back would have let in. This team seems so much more disciplined, so much more together. I mean, you look at it, even in the back 5, Cresswell's playing great. Granted, I was a little shaky with him at left back. I would have preferred, if we went to the back 5, I'm okay with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson held his own against Man City in Manchester. I think he can hold his own against Leeds in the back 5.
He also held his own when we played Liverpool at home.
Exactly.
Last season. You know, he played out on the left in that game and did very well in that game. The funny thing with Johnson, he's a natural right back, but to me, he actually looks like he's more comfortable out on the left, and he performs actually better when he plays out on the left for some. Now, it may just be coincidence that the games he happened to play on the right, he just wasn't at it as much, but the evidence so far from what we've seen is Johnson looks more comfortable out on the left. So yeah, I would have been fine with that, but I was really glad like you, to see a change of formations, and I was, and not to hark back on it again, but actually in that video with Gonzo, because we did bring up the Leeds game, and I had said to him, now Gonzo got a heads up about Masuaku before anyone else really knew. So before it was publicly known by the rest of the fans. So before we recorded the 2 videos last Tuesday, he basically told me off air before the show, look, Masuaku was seen by someone at the hospital limping, so he's not going to be available. So that's why we got into this discussion about the formation. So Moyes kind of almost was forced into kind of changing up the formation. Now, he didn't have to as such, but I think he looked at the personnel and thought, no, there's no one else really that's ideal for left wing back. So I'm going to just go flat back 4. And I was actually very happy to see that, because I think in some games we should be doing that. We can't play the same formation against every opponent. I thought against Leeds it was exactly the right thing to do, and I said it to Gonzo that I would actually be quite pleased if at 7 o'clock on Friday it came out and we were playing a flat back 4 with Benrahma, Bowen and Heller up top, and Royce Soucek and Fornals in midfield. I said, I think against Leeds, I think we need to be able to hurt them, because they're going to give up chances. We're going to have space basically going forward when we win the ball back. And I wanted someone like Benrahma on there who could really take advantage of it. So I was really pleased to see that formation tonight and the personnel we put out. Because, like I said, I mean, there was one point there in the second half where Declan Rice won the ball back deep in our own half, and he sailed up to the edge of Leeds' penalty box with no one within an ass's roar of him. You know, like the amount of space all around him was unbelievable. He just sailed right clean up the middle, and that's Leeds. That's Bielsa's philosophy. It's very easy on the eye. It's nice to look at. It's good to watch. It's great even for neutrals. You know, you won't be bored watching Leeds, because there will be goals in Leeds games. But that's why I really wanted to see us go. I'm not terrified like you of the flat back 4. I understand. I understand people have kind of PTSD about the flat back 4 because of how it was before. But like you say, Moyes has these guys much better drilled, and I think Sofal is definitely much better as an orthodox right back. Yeah. He looks really solid. Like you said, Cresswell was a worry for me, but not defensively, because he can defend. I just worried about his ability to get up and down the pitch. You know, if he had the legs, but he didn't do too much of that tonight, because he didn't need to, because Benrahma and Fornals at various times were going over to that side, so he could just pop the ball in, and they were basically doing the rest. So he didn't really have to be a kind of raiding fullback. So that suited Cresswell. So Cresswell wasn't exposed because he was caught up the pitch and didn't have the legs to get back. So, and presumably that was by design. David Moyes would have known, look, you haven't got the legs to do that, and we don't want to leave acres of space in the left back position for counters. So it worked out defensively fine. And I have to say, while we're talking about the defense, I mean, Balbuena was absolutely brilliant tonight. Absolutely brilliant.
Ogbonna's been solid all season, but Balbuena has definitely been a surprise this season. Very, very pleasant surprise. And I think just about every West Ham fan welcomes his form back from his inaugural season with West Ham. I mean, I will say, though, I think one of my favorite moments in the match, I mean, in terms of the defense, was the fact that at the very end of the match, we had basically Balbuena and Ogbonna
playing 1-2s.
Yeah. I was like, wait, how has this happened? Why are our center halves the farthest forward?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was ridiculous, really, to see. I was like, what's going on? Like, you've got Balbuena and Ogbonna like dovetailing up on the edge of Leeds' box, and Ogbonna clips a little short cross into to Balbuena, and he hits it and just clips the post. And I'm thinking, oh man, if that had gone in, that just would have been peak banter.
100%.
That would have been amazing. And I'm thinking, like, we've got 2 fucking centre backs up here showing our forwards how to fucking open, how to like do it. Like that was brilliant. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw that, and I thought, Jesus, it's such a shame that didn't go in. That would have been just. I mean, we never would have. We'd have been watching that for weeks.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
just Oggy and the general just doing that on the edge of Leeds' box.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, guys, like, what are you doing? Like, Russia. These are two guys that should be hearing back, you know, getting back into their defensive positions, and they're up taking the piss out of Leeds' defense. You know, and you know, if we'd have been a couple of goals up, I'd have been much more comfortable with that. But you know, it's just as well. You know, we didn't just give the ball away and they broke, because we would have been in real trouble there. But yeah, look, I have to say, look, obviously Ogbonna, look, we know he's Mr. Dependable. He's one of the very best centre backs in the Premier League. So we know what to expect from him. He's really good every game. But I do have to say, Balbuena tonight, I thought was an absolute rock. I thought he was just absolutely fantastic. It was his best game for us in a long time. You know, obviously he's been playing very well anyway, but I mean, tonight I thought he was just absolutely superb. And you're absolutely right, Chris. Surprised a lot of people this season. Not me, frankly, because I've always liked Balbuena. I've always rated him and thought he's a really good, solid centre back. Okay, he's a bit old school. He's not, you know, this silky modern day centre back as such, who's going to bring the ball out and ping across, or ping a pass 60 yards kind of diagonal, or any of this stuff. Or he's not silky. You know, he's a no nonsense centre back. But he's very, very good, and I've always liked him. Now, I thought his days at West Ham were numbered, because I felt like David Moyes didn't particularly like him, and that seems to have been the case. But obviously, Diop went down with COVID, and so Moyes really kind of just had to put him in there. And I think he's surprised Moyes too, and has completely changed David Moyes' mind about him. And I think he is an automatic name on the team sheet now for Moyes. I bet if you ask Moyes' opinion of him now compared to, you know, the pre-season, it would be completely different.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you have to do, though. I mean, when you're down the pecking order, when you get your chances, you have to take them. And Balbuena took it, and he's run with it. I mean, that's the model of what you have to do when you get your chances. I mean,
yeah. And it kind of harks back to another thing that I've said in the past, Chris, and I know I've said it on, I don't know if it was this particular show with you or one of the other American Hammers Network shows, but I said that one of the most important things for any team, if they're going to be successful, is that you have a really, really good, solid centre-back partnership. And if you've got that, you know, that's a great kind of foundation to build forward from. And we're very, very lucky. We have, whether it's in the 3 or in the 2, you know, with Ogbonna and Balbuena, we've got a really, really good centre-back partnership.
And then you throw in Cresswell's form and how well Soufal's done for us. We have a very good defense, and that's why I was not necessarily worried about the flat back 4. I mean, it was kind of like, okay, let's see how this goes, but I think we're going to be fine. We have better endurance. It's obvious David Moyes has introduced a much improved fitness regimen for them, for the entire squad. Then you add to that how well they've been playing this season. I mean, taking one piece out of that puzzle, I mean, it's still the same back 4, just Masuaku's out of there. I mean, I wouldn't have seen them playing that poorly, and they didn't. So, yeah.
Yeah. Just do me one favor, Chris. Pop up a message there from Pot Noodle. All right, Pot Noodle. Is that is that Tony? Because it says it's greetings from Ardfert. So I don't know if it's Tony or if it's Anthony, but his son Anthony. It's one of the two. I don't know what names they go by on YouTube, but yeah, they're only a few miles out the road from me here. And in fact, I used to live in Ardfert. So so maybe send on another message, partner. That's Tony. Yeah, it's Tony. All right. How you doing, Tony? Okay, so basically, he's my boss slash best friend's brother. So they, uh,
Gotcha.
but anyway, yeah. Sorry, Chris. So what were you saying there?
No worries. Yeah, just how the defense was, how I really wasn't worried about it at all. But
There seems to be. Do you notice, Chris? Like there seems to be a little bit of people talking Leeds up a bit too much. Like
yeah,
there seems to be a lot of people that like really rate Leeds, like they're this really very very good side, and I genuinely don't get it. I think they're an average team. I think they'll finish in the bottom half of the table. Um, they're just way too open, and I knew that was going to happen tonight, and I was delighted to see the formation and that Ben Rama was starting in a three up top. Um, and so we could get at them because I mean you could see yourself the amount of chances we created against Leeds. If we'd have taken a few of them, we'd have battered them tonight. So I don't know why people are kind of afraid of Leeds. I really don't. I know on their day, they can be very good, but you've always got a chance with them because they're just so open in the way they play. So, I think a lot of people maybe think a little bit too much of Leeds.
yeah. As a side note, though, with Bielsa, every time without fail, every time the camera cut to him in this match, I swear to God, I thought he looked like he was about ready to run on onto the pitch, stab somebody.
Yeah, he's an intense guy, But by all accounts, now by all accounts, anyone who kind of knows him around him, apparently he's a very likable chap, and a really great guy. I know he's very popular with the Leeds players. He's actually very, very popular among the people of Leeds. He goes out and about in Leeds. He'd be walking down the high street and popping into shops and going into a cafe and stuff. And apparently he's a very nice guy. But I don't know if you noticed at half time, he was having a right on the touchline right before the start of the second half. He was having a right little love-in with Lanzini.
Oh no!
Of course, they're both Argentinian, so yeah, he was having a right little love-in with Lanzini at the side of the pitch before the start of the second half. So, and I actually tweeted, well,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Lanzini gone to Leeds in January.
Yeah, I was confused about that. I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, so but just to pick on Darren Higgins' comment there, yeah, exactly the thing. And one of the things I was looking forward to tonight was the set pieces because Leeds are really, really bad defensively on set pieces. Really bad. I think a large percentage of their goals, I think it's something in the region of a quarter or something like that, or a little over a quarter of all of the goals they concede come from set pieces.
I think they said like 1 in 6.
It's something like that, but a lot of their goals come from set pieces. And if you look at the difference in height between our players and theirs, we had a massive advantage, and we're very good on set pieces anyway.
I was going to say, conversely, we're now tied for joint most goals from set pieces.
Yeah, we've got 8 now. So, and it's not like we've scored a bag full of penalties either. These are all, free kicks and corners and stuff. So, I felt like we were definitely going to get a lot of joy there tonight. 17% have been set. Yeah, that's a huge amount.
That's a lot.
So now I know it includes penalties, but still, it's a lot. And we did have a height advantage. We had the likes of Haller in there, obviously Souček. We've got other tall players there. We had a few players that were matching up in the penalty area when we had a set piece where we were just taller than all of them. So, I was basically praying like that we'd get lots of corners, win lots of free kicks, deep in their half of the field where we could just get deliveries in. And it proved that tonight. We should have scored more goals from set pieces tonight than we did. But and there was one point in the second half where Souček was fouled out on the left-hand side, and I thought, oh, here we go. This is perfect for Cresswell. Just in that sweet spot for Cresswell to whip a ball in. I thought we could get a goal here. And then Ben Rama decided to shoot directly from the free kick.
Yeah.
I was actually roaring at the telly
Yeah.
when he did that. I'm thinking, because we had just, we had everybody up. Oggy's up and the general is up, where everyone's in the box, Royce is up, and you do that and you go for, and you take a shot on from out there. And I'm thinking, like, how do you not understand the advantage that we have in there? You know, on set pieces, you can't not deliver it. So I was disappointed with some of that. You know, again, we had that haunting again of we've got to start taking our chances, Chris. You know, but we just miss way too many of them. Like that was a 2-1 win tonight. It should have been 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know, and against United as well, we should have had 3-4 goals scored by the hour mark. So we've got to do something about that. Some of it is decision making. Some of it is the final ball is just all wrong. And some of it is actually just really poor finishing. And we saw both of that tonight. So we really got to work on that. You know, we won't always get away with it, but I'd love to see. I think we actually, this was before tonight's game. But then again, of course, the rest of the games this week haven't been played. So at the end of this weekend, we'll see if it's changed. But before tonight, we were 15th in the league for converting like great chances.
Jeez.
These are not half chances, like actual proper real chances. And we're 15th in the league at converting those. So, and we could see why tonight. That may even we may even be worse by the end of the weekend. Because we how many did we miss tonight, Chris? Like really, really great chances. It was a lot. So you know, we've got to do something about that.
Yeah. I do want to move on though. I want us to talk about 2 players. And I think you know which ones I'm talking about. You can take your pick first of which one we want to talk of first. Do you want to talk about Saeed Benrahma's debut or Allaire?
I don't want to be too negative tonight because at the end of the day, we've just won and we're up to 5th in the table. So let's get the Heller thing out of the way. Let's just do it because we have to talk about it. It is, as you say, kind of the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine everybody is going to be more or less on the same page here because even people who are fans of Heller will have to hold their hands up today and say, look, okay, he's had a stinker for much of the game. He did improve, it has to be said. I thought the last 30 minutes of the game, he was better. So he didn't stink for 90 minutes, but he stunk for long enough. You know, I'm obviously, look, his very first act was to a horrible, horrible, heavy first touch and got the ball stolen. And then Bamford was put through and then brought down by Fabianski, which led eventually, after a bullshit retake, to us going 1-0 down in the 2nd minute. So, unfortunately for Haller, you know, he started off horribly. I don't know if that fucked with him. I'm just wondering if that fucked with him. You know, the very first thing he did was essentially give a goal away. And I wonder if that got into his head a little bit and it kind of threw him. But whatever happened, I mean, he was just right from the off. He was absolutely horrible. Not long after, he had a glorious chance with a header from close range. Hit a very poor header. Then he had another chance 6 yards out. Quick little touch, swivel and hit. Very poor again. Yeah, every time he got the ball, he seemed to give it away. He was being bullied off the ball. You know, for a big guy, you know, for a guy his size, I mean, he gets bullied off the ball and goes to ground far too easy. You know, he should be bullying people. He should be brushing people off. Like, get off me, man! What are you even doing? Like, he's big. I mean, you ever imagine anybody doing that to Antonio?
Yeah, no.
Absolutely no chance. Once Antonio is between you and the ball, it's Antonio's ball. End of story. You know, once he has it at his feet, he will literally just hold you off with his upper body strength and roll you or pass the ball off, whatever it is he's going to do. Haller needs to toughen the fuck up and stop being bullied off the ball. He's too big and strong for that to be happening. But he just had a kind of a horror show, especially, as I say, in the first half. Just absolutely dreadful. And I'll tell you what, Chris, despite the fact he improved a bit as the second half went on, Moyes is standing on the sideline watching all this. He's got no other options on the bench, so Heller's going to stay on for the 90 minutes. But
yeah,
I think whenever Moyes has another option, he will take that other option. I don't see right now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Heller will have some more games before Antonio gets back, but right now, I don't see how he can have a future at West Ham. It wouldn't even surprise me, Chris, when Yarmolenko comes back, if Moyes decides, fuck it, I'm putting Yarmolenko up top. It would not surprise me. So I think Heller's days are numbered.
Yeah, I mean, I had sent you this today, or before the match. Sam Inkersol had tweeted out, interesting line from the written section of David Moyes' press conference yesterday. Admitted he has considered playing Said Benrahma as a central striker. I need to look for alternatives for when we need them.
Yeah, and I think he was talking about tonight.
Yeah.
Now, I suspect as well, actually, that the only reason Heller played tonight was because of the Masuaku injury and the change of formation. I think if we'd had Masuaku and we were playing our usual formation, I think Benrahma may very well have started up top tonight.
Yeah, very possible. There was one thing I saw on a Facebook or West Ham Facebook group during the match, and I just had to say it here. Someone had said that Allaire in front of goal is no different than Roberto in goal last season.
Well, I mean, tonight was pretty bad. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, Roberto. I still have nightmares about Roberto. I don't think I'll ever have nightmares about Haller, but I suppose it's different. Look, if you're awful as a goalkeeper and you're committing all these howlers, I mean, the ball's in the net and it's cost you a goal. Haller, for all his faults tonight, didn't cost us the game, so people won't really view it the same way.
Yeah, no.
But I see what they're getting at. I mean, Haller was absolutely dreadful.
I will say that.
Anyway, I don't want to say too much more. We all saw it. We all know how bad he was.
Yeah,
I don't want to flog him.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't want to flog it too much because I think we should try and keep it positive as possible. We won the game. We're in fifth.
Yeah, fair play.
So talk about Benrahma.
Yeah. Well, last thing I was going to say, fair play to Allaire for the attempt of the overhead kick. Had that gone in, that would have been one of the goals of the season.
He's brilliant at those.
It's incredible. I think we just need to figure out a way to just constantly get him to do overhead kicks instead.
Yeah, I think we put him on the edge of the box and say, just back to goal on the edge of the box, and we will just constantly roll the ball up to your foot, and you flick it up and overhead kick it in the top corner.
I mean, yeah,
he's brilliant. I don't know if I've ever seen someone as consistently good at overhead kicks.
Yeah,
he never seems to mishit them, and they're very difficult. There's a difficult technique, but he never seems to mishit his overhead kicks. They all seem to come really hard off his foot and be on target. He was really. It brought a great save from Meslier tonight. To keep that out.
Yeah, and fair play to their keeper as well. He had a few very nice saves.
I'll tell you what, he's a keeper, Chris, I really like, actually. And remember, he's 20.
He's only 20?
Yeah.
Holy crap. I did not know.
He's 20 years old, and he's this good already. I mean, if he progresses, and continues to improve and progress, and when you remember, like, keepers peak, like, in their late 20s.
I
think this Meslier kid has the potential to be absolutely world class if he keeps improving. And you have to imagine if he's going to be playing Premier League year in, year out. I mean, he can't but improve. So you keep an eye out on this kid because he might become, one of the best keepers around in a few years.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, so. The other player, though, we need to talk about, finally we got to see Said Benrahma for more than 10, 15 minutes. And my word, I mean, he had his bad moments, as most players do in the match, but he looks promising. Very, very promising.
Yeah, he does look very promising. There's a lot we can take from this game as regards Benrahma. I just love the way he can sail past people. He'd be running along like making these little runs along, ball at his feet, and he'll have an opponent coming towards him, and he does a little kind of a jink and nudges the ball forward, and all of a sudden he's just sailed past the guy like he's not there. It just looks like it's just easy. And it's great to see. He has such amazing feet, and you can see the confidence of the guy. I mean, he's not afraid to take on a shot either. For better or worse, which I'll get into. But yeah, he clearly has a lot of confidence in his own ability, and he gives us that X factor that no other player we have has got. And we have to remember as well, this is his first season in the Premier League. He's still young.
Match in the
Yeah, his first start, his first full game. So, he has a lot of improving to do. You could see tonight some of his decision making showed his inexperience. Now, I think some of it was perhaps he was a little bit too eager to impress and to say to David Moyes, I must play, and plus inexperience. I think between the two, he made some bad decisions. Shooting in times when he shouldn't be shooting, particularly from that free kick out on the left, where Cresswell really should have been putting that ball in the box, considering the advantage we had in there. But Benrahma decided to shoot at goal. I mean, a very, very low percentage shot. And there were other shots where he came inside where he had a brilliant opportunity to put a ball into the box, and he just hit a pot shot again. But look, I mean, with experience and a little kind of coaching as well, words in his ear saying, listen, relax, you don't have to score twice every game, for us to pick you. Okay, you need to be effective, because that's what Moyes wants, what any manager wants, players who are effective. It wouldn't have mattered if Benrahma didn't score whatsoever tonight if he had, say, put a couple of assists in. Like he did for the Bowen goal against Villa. Early, just after coming on, actually, in the second half. So he just needs to settle down a little bit and not worry too much about trying to impress the guy standing on the sideline, and just concentrate on what he's doing and then making the right decisions at the right time. But I think that'll come. Especially if he becomes a feature of the team, where he kind of knows, okay, I'm going to start, and he relaxes a little bit, and hopefully then just start making better decisions. But overall, very exciting prospect. He's only going to get better and better and better, and he's going to hurt some teams for us. He really is. He's got so much skill, and at West Ham we just love to see a skill player on the pitch, and it's something we have been missing. Moyes has done a great job in fixing things that really needed fixing, like making us much more solid at the back, getting our fitness and conditioning right, and getting the team set up right so everybody knows their jobs, and things are more fluid. So things are going very, very well. But the one thing we've been missing is that little spark, because we've been very workmanlike, very well organized, very well drilled. Everyone knows their job. But now I think the next part of that evolution of the team that Moyes needs to do, and he started it tonight, I hope we'll stick with it, is just to add the spark, add that little bit of flair, that little touch of magic that someone like Benrahma can bring, because that's what we need now. We're very workmanlike, very industrial, do a lot of things really well, but now we need that player that can get people off their seats, who can open up a defense by literally just sailing past three players, or by splitting a defense with a brilliant reverse pass or something. Someone who just has that little kind of X factor that we haven't really had. But we need that, and I think it's good to have that in a team. And you can have a luxury player as such, like that in Benrahma. If it's one player, which it will be with Benrahma, everyone else is kind of doing their job. You can have a Benrahma who doesn't really have much by way of defensive duties. His job is literally get on the ball, get turned, run at them, and hurt them. So I'm really, really happy to finally have seen him play a full game.
Yeah, I have a follow up for you here in a second, but first I wanted to point this out. I have to always get one in. If Foshizi was here, he would attest to it as well. But I always have to get in some sort of Steelers reference. So, evening, Father Snowman. But I see that Bills in your emblem there. I'm a Steelers fan.
Well
So
spotted.
I'm not allowed to like you this week. So I just wanted to point that out. I always have to get one in there, and that was my in. So the follow up though that I had was I'm trying to figure out how to word this. If we were to revert to a back five, would you still stick with Saeed Ben Rama over Fornals, or would you stick with Paul, or would you stick with Fornals, or would you go Saeed Ben Rama? Who is the first choice at this point? I know we've only Saeed Ben Rama for one match, but I think that he impressed me well enough that I heavily consider it.
Yeah, I think it's horses for course. Who have we got next?
Crystal Palace.
Home to Palace. Yeah, I mean that's a Benrahma game. Fornals I thought was actually very poor tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, as much as I really like Fornals and he has a lot to recommend him, but I did not think this was a game for him. But for the very same reason I said to you earlier about the way Leeds play and that they're so open and that they allow you to create chances, I was tweeting at halftime to get Lanzini in there for Fornals because
I was surprised he didn't end up coming on at some point.
Yeah, I was very surprised actually because I thought Fornals' pace or lack thereof was actually killing us on the counter-attack. It was just killing our counterattacks. And anytime a ball is played out ahead of Fornals, he just will not get there ahead of an opponent. Every time any ball, a good ball played just into his path, where he had to run on and continue on the momentum of the attack, he invariably just couldn't get there. He's just too slow. And I'm thinking, this is absolutely ideal for Lanzini. You play those balls to Lanzini, he gets on the end of them. And obviously he has that skill as well, like Benrahma, where he can go past someone, he can do some damage. So I thought tonight would have been absolutely ideal at half time to get Lanzini in there. Now Moyes didn't do it. I know he's a bit more conservative, in his outlook than I would be, I guess. But I was disappointed he didn't do that because, imagine those balls that were played to Fornals and, getting forward on the counter-attack, if they'd gone to Lanzini rather than Fornals, I think we would have created even more chances and Lanzini may have even scored himself or just given someone an absolute tap in or something, so I was a bit disappointed with that. I thought it was an obvious move to make, but that's Moyes. But yeah, I think to answer your question, at home against Palace next week, we don't need to go super defensive against them. Again, they're an average side, so we can get at them. And I think Benrahma is the key to that. Get Benrahma on there from the start. Even and I would I would have him because he depends what formation Moyes goes with. But I'd stick with that back four against Palace. I don't think we need to fear Palace so much that we need to be defensive at home against them with wing backs and three centre backs. I'd stick with this from tonight. But yeah, I would. Well, Benrahma did start, even though Fornals started. But perhaps we could. No, Moyes is never doing this, I don't think. But I would love to see Lanzini, Benrahma start, put them all on, have Bowen there as well with Heller up top.
That'd be a hell of a that'd be hell of a sterling lineup. I
know it's less defensive, but Fornals offers you a bit more defensively, but not so much that I think he'd be a huge loss defensively. He works very hard and all that, but I don't think it'd be a huge loss defensively.
Yeah,
I'd love to see us go very attacking.
Yeah, I was just about to say, looking at the table.
Sorry, Chris, just a thought that jumped in at me. I would not be one bit averse to getting Haller out of there. if you want to put Lanzini, for example, in Fornell's role, put Benrahma up top, because I know Moyes mentioned it already, like you said in the press conference. So if Moyes wanted to start Benrahma up top, he could do that.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Benrahma dropping deep, coming to get the ball, he can spin on a dime, with the ball and be in behind, do things Haller can't do. So I wouldn't mind that. If you wanted to get kind of Lanzini and Benrahma and Bowen in there together without having to sacrifice Fornals, you could just drop Haller for Benrahma.
Yeah. And I agree with you wholeheartedly about the going more attacking. Looking at the table right now, Crystal Palace is sitting down in 11th. We still have a goal in hand on them. But they've only allowed 16 past them this year. I mean, they've only scored 17 subsequently, but I mean, it seems like they're a pretty defensive team. So we're going to have to go attacking to be able to kind of try and bust them down some. And man, let me just also say, it is weird to scroll in this table and see Arsenal down in 15th.
Weird in the best possible way.
Oh, absolutely. It's weird looking at this table, seeing Arsenal in 15th, City in 8th, Southampton in 6th, let alone us in 5th and Tottenham 1st, which I'm too pleased about that.
Yeah, it's peak 2020, isn't it? It's, I don't know. I don't know about you, because I don't think 2020 has been all bad. I think I could kind of get used to it, frankly. If this is the new world where we're pushing for Champions League qualification, I can use a mask.
Oh yeah.
Just to answer Matthew Howard in the chat there, he's asking if we were to go back to a back five, would have put a left wing back. Frankly, I'll just play Ben Johnson there. I know there are people who would say, I heard some fucking suggestions this week. Some people saying some people, I suppose the most obvious thing some people were saying was you just move Cresswell over there, but I don't like him there. I prefer him either as an orthodox left back or as the left-sided centre back. Other people were saying Snodgrass. Absolutely no way. What are you thinking? Someone even what was the other suggestion? Someone even suggested you could move Fornals back there. Sorry, too slow. Really, wing backs have to get up and down the pitch. Like, how fast do you think Fornals is going to be getting up and down the pitch? Like, come on. So look, we have a ready-made player there in Ben Johnson. Can go in. Ben Johnson for me. I'd play Ben Johnson. Keep our usual back three with Cresswell as the left side centre back. Just plug Ben Johnson in there. He'll do absolutely fine. And it means there's less shuffling of the pack involved. Because as you said earlier, Cresswell, Oggy, and Balbuena have been very solid as a partnership there, as the three centre backs for us. So why mess with it? Just put Ben Johnson in there. Job done.
Yeah. And then there was a question asked earlier by Father Snowman. I love saying that. And I think I'm going to know your answer. And I think I think your answer is most of the fan bases. But as of right now, do we give Moyes a long-term deal?
I think it's getting to the point now where it's very difficult to argue against it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been on the train of he deserves it for a couple weeks solely just because of how well we're playing, how he's gotten the fitness instilled into the players. But more importantly for me, I remember there was a few weeks ago where there was a report that said that the players love playing for Moyes and we're playing well under him. For me, if the players want it, then give it to them. I mean, it was clear at the end of Pellegrini's reign for a while that the players didn't want to play for him. And we just kept beating that horse. And that's what ended up causing the deflation of our season. So if the players want him, I'm all for him.
Yeah, 100%, because I was unsure probably up to now, but and I know some people still are saying, look, a bit early, let's give it another little while. So I could understand people saying, let's wait until January and sort him out a new contract in January. Fine, okay. But if we were to give him one now, I'm absolutely fine with that too. As you say, look, Moyes has put a hell of a lot of things in place that are very good. So we've spoken about some of them already. You know, we're a completely different team now. We're so well organized, fitness and conditioning. We're creating chances. I mean, 12 games in, we've won half of our games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually astounding. Like that's brilliant to have won half of 6 of our 12 games, and we've drawn 2.
Yeah, so we've gotten a point from 3/4.
Yeah, we've lost 4 games in 12. You know, like that's fantastic. I mean, and like you say, I think the backroom team he's put together is obviously working extremely well. You know, with Alan Irvine there, is got Kevin Nolan, Stuart Pearce. You know, really, really good backroom team that are clearly doing a very, very good job as well. And like you say, the players love the guy. The players would run through a wall for him.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all playing for him. They all look very happy. You know, there doesn't seem to be any dissent in the camp from anyone. You know, no one's throwing any hissy fits. You know, so listen, if a manager can be sacked after 12 games for horrible results and performances, I don't see why you can't give the man a contract extension when he's done the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, we'll all be very quick to fucking call for his head, you know, if things had gone tits up, you know. But the fact that we're in 5th, 12 games in, after some very, very difficult games.
And lack
you
of
know,
being
winning
able
winning 50% of our games, I mean, is astonishing, really. When you think of, you know, how often do West Ham, you know, in this kind of a stretch, win 50% of their games?
Yeah.
You know, I think he's done brilliantly. In fairness to the man,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, if I have absolutely no problem giving that man a contract extension. If it's 2 years extension, fine, give it to him.
There's one other point too that I had just thought about this as well. With his contract being up at the end of the season, right now we can almost, from a business side of things, we can get him at basically a cut rate, so to speak. Because if we let it go to the end of the season, like I'm not trying to pick on him or anything, but Ginger's saying here, like wait until the end of the season. Say hypothetically, completely hypothetically, we finish 5th in this table this season. He's now going to come to the board and say, "Look, I just got 5th. I just got you 5th. You're going to Europe." So many other teams could be looking at him like, "Hey, look at the job he's doing at West Ham with with not a whole lot of money. If we give him some money, who knows what he could do?" So he can almost probably double his asking price from West Ham. And then at that point, we're screwed. So if you don't give him that deal now, you run the risk of having to monumentally increase the amount you'd have to pay him to keep him on staff.
Yeah, well, look, obviously, even now, I think if he's renegotiating the contract, obviously he'll be looking for a lot more money than he's on now, and he deserves it, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's be honest, for a Premier League manager, his wages right now are paltry. So he'll be entitled to ask for a reasonable wage for a Premier League manager. But the other issue we might have, Jim, if we wait until the end of the season, there may be other teams who come in and say, "You know what? I really love what Moyes has done at West Ham."
That's what
and if he feels like our board are stalling on a new deal and humming and hawing and are literally going to wait until the current one runs out, he'll probably say, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go to this other club because they're giving me a 4-year contract. they're backing me, they believe in me, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. If we wait till the end of the season, it's going to piss him off.
And at which point, too, then we'd have to find another manager and start all over again.
Yeah, plus we'd lose him for nothing as well.
And in all reality, I keep sounding like I'm picking on him. I'm not trying to, but every managerial,
look,
you run that risk. That's what happened with Pellegrini. We thought he was going to be like he was going to take us higher places than we ever thought imaginable as a West Ham fan, and now we're with Moyes. So I mean, every manager is like that. And so every deal in sports is a bit of a gamble in itself. I'm
sorry, Jim. I just strongly disagree. I mean, I don't think that's a good reason.
Like I said, we're not trying to pick on you. It's just part of the.
Well, no, look, it's all about opinions. I'm sure I've said plenty of stuff. Jim disagrees with, including this actually. So, no, I don't think that's a good reason to not extend his contract. Look, I think he deserves it, frankly, and I definitely would not wait until his current one runs out, because I mean that's one way to piss a man off. Like, because everybody knows he deserves to have it extended now, and to let his current contract run out and then. To say, for Sullivan to be humming and hawing about whether we'll back him right through to the end of this season and his contract, it's not a good look, and you have to reward the man. Listen, like I said, Sullivan wouldn't be slow to sack him if we were fucking bottom of the table or in the relegation zone right now. So, the fact he's done, let's be honest, he's done actually a brilliant job this season. So let's reward the man. Everything is moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Let's keep the momentum going. Let's put it on the table to David Moyes and say, you know what? You've done brilliantly, David. And we really, really see now you're the guy. You're the man for the job to take us forward and to keep evolving the team and getting us even further up the table, hopefully. Let's talk contract. And, David Moyes is happy. Players will love that.
Oh,
he's so popular. The players would love to see David Moyes get an extra 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, on his contract here. They would love that. That would be a very popular thing to do, and it would keep the whole mood around the club great. I mean, you imagine Alan Irvine, Stuart Pearce, Kevin Nolan. That's them too, right? That's their job security. As long as they keep, running the team well, that's their job security. They're essentially in the same boat. Whatever contract Moyes gets, they're going to be there with him for that length of time, barring one of them gets a job offer to manage somewhere. But it gives them security, makes them happy, and it just keeps everything on a nice even keel and keeps everyone's heads positive and keep everyone happy. I think it would actually, for a few reasons, I think it would be a good idea to extend him.
And then also, I had just thought about this as well. Especially if we manage to get into Europe, which I know that at the moment, I mean, it sounds enticing, but I mean, we still have 2/3 of the season left to play.
Yeah, see, that's where David Moyes needs to be careful too. If we're on the cusp of qualifying for the Europa League with maybe 5 or 6 games to go, Sullivan would probably sack him.
That's possible.
I mean, he was pissed off about spending 50 grand to send the team up to play Everton in the League Cup.
Oh, no.
Imagine telling him we have a game in Kazakhstan.
But
he'll lose his fucking nut.
Yeah. Holy crap, that's a long message. Yeah. Yeah.
What is this?
No, you're fine, Jeffrey. I understand it completely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're probably right on that. They're saying that there's negotiations ongoing at the moment, but I mean, it's very possible that Sullivan could, like we said, could just kind of keep pushing it. But what I was going to say is, say hypothetically we get into Europe, even if we don't, and Moyes gets that contract extension, Declan Rice has expressed a lot of love for David Moyes. That is keeping David Moyes could be the thing that keeps Declan at West Ham longer. That and a new contract.
Yeah, like I say, you know, Declan obviously right now is a very happy man, right? So we can talk about that too. We need to give him a contract, like seriously.
That goes without saying. That goes without saying, though. That's why I hadn't brought it up.
Yeah, we need to be giving that man 100K a week, seriously, because if we were to do that, like give Moyes a new contract and then go to Declan and say, listen, you're an England international now. You're one of the best defensive midfielders around. I mean, how good was Rice tonight? He was fucking brilliant again. You know what I mean? Like the guy is just oozes fucking class. And we need to do the right thing by Moyes and then do the right thing by him. And we have got ourselves a very, very happy ship. We've got a manager that Declan Rice, as you rightly say, absolutely loves. A Declan Rice who's in a team that's playing very well and that's winning games. And a team where he's now got himself a nice new contract. So, yeah, I think really, if Sullivan has any brains, he needs to do that.
Yeah,
you know, he's got to get that get those two guys taken care of. I think.
Yep. Well, listen, Tommy, I want to thank you for joining me as always. Thank you thank you to everyone in the chat. Wednesday is home against Palace, and I do not see any reason why we will not be back here. So until then, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.